Hello everyone and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. We are working on a moon space station, so we're going to get back to that. I have an unintended, not really unintended, unplanned sort of launch. I decided that the solar panels that are currently on the space station are horrible and I don't care for them. So I designed a ship to deliver some new ones and to bring some more RCS fuel out there. And this is the ship. These are the new solar panels. They have these little detachable doohickeys on them and stuff because I kind of want to keep the part count down, and a good way to do that is by getting rid of excess docking ports and stuff that I used to do this. When I build the space station for the MUN, I will probably actually just connect these directly to the station because I actually like this design okay. I think it will work. So this thing's ready to go. It's pretty much just one of my basic launchers, so assuming it doesn't blow up at the pad, I think I'll meet you on the way to the MUN. And so assuming this thing doesn't blow up here, I think we'll be good to go. Let's go ahead and swap this over to number 2 stage so it doesn't accidentally get rid of stuff that I actually want. Throttle up and let's go. A little bit wobbly. Hopefully that's not going to be an issue. I guess we'll see. I forgot to connect those struts. I always forget these little struts here. That's a darn shame. That is definitely a shame. But the idea is we're going to dock this with the space station so it'll be nice and stable. They won't drift apart. We'll have as much time as we want. The worker drone can come down, grab onto this, and well, actually it's going to have to detach the old one first, grab onto this, move it into place, and then swap everything around. Hopefully the RCS fuel in this tank will be enough to actually deal with everything that we're going to be doing. But I don't know. I didn't even notice those solid rocket boosters detached there. I guess they did, but I didn't even hear it. But yeah, this looks like it's actually going fine. This part always makes me nervous, but it looks fine. Alrighty, we're up in space. We're not quite in orbit yet, but let's get these solar panels deployed just so we have plenty of power. There's a lot of batteries on this thing too, but I always like to pop out the old solar panels and get those things fired up. And let's get this orbit established, and then we will plot a transfer out to the MUN. Alright, well, now that we've achieved orbit, well, in a second here, I am going to actually do this a little bit differently than I have been doing it. Let's target the MUN. I should be able to just find its orbit and click on it, right? There we go. And we are going to do a rendezvous planner thingy. And I actually want to have an impact with the MUN for part of this ship. So we're going to execute this and actually alter our course when we're en route. I'm doing this because I would like to actually use this big engine that we got as much as I can to get this transfer done. And I think it's going to have enough fuel to actually do the whole thing. And if it does, we can just disconnect and smack this thing into the MUN and continue on our merry little way after we make a little course adjustment. So I think that's what we'll do here. See how that works. Alrighty, well, we are starting our transfer burn here in a second, and it is surprisingly short using this mainsail engine. That really makes a pretty big difference in thrust, I guess. That is a short burn. Definitely goes through a lot of fuel, but it does get the job done. I think it looks like we're going to have enough fuel that we can do this whole transfer just using this engine. It's going to be pretty much done, but nice. I am satisfied with that. We'll check our results in a second here. How'd we do? That looks like I should smack it in the MUN, right? It doesn't have a periapsis or anything. I think it's going to smack into the MUN. So let's ditch that part. It can just go on its merry little adventure there. And we're going to plot a maneuver somewhere out here to get a periapsis going. I don't know which way I want to go. Do I want to slow down? Yes, I wanted to slow down. Okay. That's a little close, but go for a little more than that. 100,000 should be just fine. We will execute that node. And hopefully we'll be in the sunlight here again in a second. So long, rocket. You won't be space junk, at least. The less of you that's out here, the better. I'm not a fan of space junk. It's unavoidable in a lot of cases, but I figured this would not be a very big burn. It's only 11 meters per second worth of a burn, so that was worth it to prevent some space junk. Goodbye, Kerbal. I always love that shot. It's a very pretty game. Where'd our debris end up? We drifted pretty far apart. Not that far apart. I like this engine actually quite a bit too. Which one's it called? The Poodle? Yeah. Poodle engine's not bad. Alrighty, so let's check our results again here. We ended up pretty much with what we wanted. So let's get switched over to our sphere of influence and we'll plot our next maneuver. Alright, so let's do this at our periapsis as always. I always like to just create it and then execute it so I can check it before it starts trying to do stuff. Are you doing this thing again where you don't want to execute it again right away? There you go. Yeah, a lot of times I have to press it twice. I don't really know why, but it's something I need to do. So our ultimate goal here is going to be to intercept that tugboat / space station and get that sorted. So there's going to be some rendezvousing going on here, which is always exciting. Somehow, yet again, I have managed to do this on the dark side of the planet. It's fantastic. Like I said before, at least there's a lot of lights on this thing. Now, it really doesn't matter too much which docking port I choose. I just need to choose a docking port. Why can I not? That's the tugboat, so that must be a dock. Yep, that is a docking port. Let's get our shieldy shield opened up if I can even find it. And control from here. And it is time to dock. Alright, well that was a lengthy docking procedure. This thing was not very well balanced with RCS, and for some reason the station decided to just keep drifting. It's doing it right now. I don't really know why. It just arbitrarily decides that it wants to start rotating, and it's probably because of this, I would assume. I don't know, but I am going to wait until we get around to the light side of the mun again before I do anything now. This was pretty horrible, but we can retract these panels. We don't need them right now. It's probably wise to leave one of them. Let's leave one side open just in case. I do have a lot of battery on this, but I really don't know how long this is all going to take. Let's leave one panel out so there's room to work. Alright, we got daylight coming from what? No, that is just light from that still. Well, it'll work. Let's go ahead and time warp real quick to calm things down. I guess this, yep, there's the sun. Okay. So, how do I want to handle this? We need to undock this guy. I'm going to pull this. I'm going to pull this one off actually because I still have that side out. So let's open that shield. I'm going to leave this panel actually extended. We don't have that much monopropellant left, unfortunately, in this thing. I guess it's a pretty good amount. But I'm going to do this off camera. I'm just going to be using this little worker to get this stuff done. I thought I opened this shield. Guess I didn't. So I'm going to pull this off, dock it there, move this there, then do that and this and that and this. It's going to be a little bit. Let this thing go. Man, I love this little thing. It's ridiculous. It's probably going to be a little tricky docking these things up very well. I have a feeling I'm going to go through a lot of RCS with that. How much is in the tank on this one? It kind of bugs me the way RCS works, that every single thing that you use that is connected uses RCS at an even rate. It makes really no sense to me, but that's how it is. And the idea finally for these is I'm going to redock them onto this, and we're just going to crash them into the surface of the mun. Pretty much is the idea. Why did it started spinning again? What is the deal? I hope when it has a little more mass it doesn't do the spinny thing so much. So let's disconnect that. Swap over here. We need to control from yonder, dock this bad boy there. Wait, what? Yes, it is controlled from. I said control from there. Alright, we got that moved over. Now, even more undocking gets to occur. How much is left in this? I'm going to preemptively, just to make sure we never run out of fuel here, start transferring some back into this. There's no reason not to. Alright, so now we can grab onto this doohickey. And that means undock. So much docking, undocking, it's madness. It's just pandemonium around here. Control from here. And wacha. Man, this thing's awesome. When it doesn't have anything on it, it's just like, it really moves, man. Moved a little further than I needed to for that, but it's under control. And I am going to try to orient this somewhat correctly. It's a little hard to tell because the ship's all askew and I can't really see the detail on anything very well, but let's have to, whoa, let's have to guess a little bit. Be very careful rotating here. Alright, I can see the line in the middle of that pretty well right now. So we're just going to go off the line on the docking port there. That looks pretty close. It's kind of drifted off, though. That looked pretty close. Wow, that camera is wiggling like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, please stop wiggling. Alrighty, yet another docking. This is ridiculous. So now we need to freeze time again, because every single time everything's just askew. Now this is something I'm a little bit concerned about. I just don't know how well the ship's going to control like this, to be honest, but we're going to hope for the best here. Set that as the target. Let's see what you can do here. Oh god, it's going to collide. It's going to collide. And it just keeps colliding. That's not so good. So we're going to have to do some manual maneuvering here for a minute. And it just totally glitched inside of there. Please calm down. Turn on the RCS, please. Why are we not back? Oh, we're not backing up because the controls are crazy because of where we're controlling from. Let's control from here for a second so I can actually think. Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa. Alright, this might not actually be that bad to handle, though. Although my docking camera is seemingly completely useless. Okay, that was just showing the other docking camera. Alright, let's do this. This is actually handling just fine. It's not going to be so bad. I do want to get these as straight as I possibly can, though. I think that kind of came out straight. I remember reading somebody on the forums was working on a docking port that would only dock when it was aligned correctly. And I really wish that that existed right now. Now, those lines there should be aligned, and they look pretty close, so I think we're good. I'm going to leave this panel retracted until we get this docked onto the side of the ship. That was a little bit dicey there, to be 100% honest. It's not an ideal setup for this stuff. So I actually put this on like this for a reason, which is we can decouple this and just back off. I'm not even going to really use any force here. We're going to change this to orbit so that I can see where prograde is from here. Did this hit the solar panel? A little bit. Doesn't matter though. We got this. Alright, so prograde is that way, so we're headed the correct way. Actually, I need to flip this because the rockets are that way. It does need to be facing prograde. It has a battery and an antenna and a drone part on it, so it can be fired separately, but I want to get it aligned somewhat right. And we can just leave that thing there now for a moment. A lot of stuff going on. Let's dock this down here for safekeeping. Turn that back on because we're in normal mode. Don't crash into stuff. You crashed into it, you stupid piece of crap. Oh well. I just want to get this thing docked safely. This is a complicated thing. I wish I just put the right freaking solar panels on this in the first place. I really didn't like how those other ones looked. And that, it's not perfect, but I think it will do. Now, I don't know if those 6 Separatrons are going to be enough to actually deorbit that thing or not. I'm really hoping they will be. But I don't know. Pop out the solar panels because we could probably use a charge. Be nice if this thing would move into frickin' dock. Now I'm trying to get you to do it. Alright, we got that docked back up. Now we want to... I actually don't know which way is which from this. We're going to control from here, so I'm sure. Alright, that's fine. So we need to turn off. This thing doesn't even have SAS. What are you talking about? It's going to do this. I have to go to the Space Center and come back. Why would you do this to me, game? I hope the antenna didn't get busted off. I actually did not look at that. I just realized that. Oh, it might have. Is this thing classified as debris now? Uh-oh. That's going to suck if in that collision that antenna got broken off. I didn't look and see if it said it was out of contact. It's out of power. How could it possibly be out of power? Where's the battery? I had a battery on this. Where'd the battery go? Are you serious? Where did the I know I put a battery on that. Oh. Well, I guess we have a little bit of extra debris out there. That was what I was trying to avoid, but oh well. Get back to frickin' work here, man. Now, the tanks are kind of running dry here again. We are definitely going to want to top them off. And the stupid rotation has started. It's so hard to keep space stations pointing in any sort of reasonable fashion. So those little tanks are all toast. I am going to have to send some more fuel up here at some point because we just don't have enough. That's unfortunate. Until the methane gets going down on the surface, we're dependent on supply shipments from Kerbal here still. Alright, so all the docking and whatnot is complete. Those panels are more or less parallel with each other. It looks like they're actually very parallel. So I'm pretty happy with that. You can't really tell right now because the panels themselves are not activated in exactly the same way. Now we're going to go ahead and ditch this thing in a second, but I might as well salvage whatever fuel I can from it before we do so. So let's transfer that to that tank as a holding tank so I don't have to do all the individual little tanks. Figure out where it needs to go from there. I top off all the rocket fuel as well. Really don't need much. In fact, I think I'll just leave what's in that tank alone and transfer everything else out of here. So it was a pretty successful mission. I wish that the ships would stop just randomly turning. I really don't know why that happens. It's kind of bugging me. But what are you going to do? It's going to do what it's going to do, I guess. So we get everything useful off of this. Let's go ahead and wait until we get around to the light side because I actually want to follow this down to the ground. We should nearly be, yeah, I was about to say we should nearly be at daybreak anyway. Alright, on dock. There's some random debris that will eventually go away, I guess. Yeah, I like how that looks better. It's kind of got like a stupid derpy look to it, I guess, in a way. I have no RCS to push away from the station, I just realized. So this is going to take some careful rocketry. Very careful rocketry, because everything is kind of screwy here. Wire up and... I don't know. My directions seem kind of funky here. I'm a little worried about crashing into the station. Stop going that way. Guess I should just be looking at the trackball, not worrying about that stuff. And you know what? We'll just go straight up. I don't even care. Just get away from the space station. We're facing this direction already. Why not work with it? Alright, now I'm going to use our good friend here, MechJeb, to get facing retrograde so I don't have to deal with it. And we can just get rid of all this crap here. I'm pretty happy about that. I have a feeling some of this stuff's going to survive. I'm going to try to do like as deadfall of a fall as I can, but I kind of have a feeling it won't necessarily be enough to get it all done the way I want. But let's watch from here so I know what we got going. Actually, I should probably do it like this. It'll be at near orbital speed. Because I don't think the gravity boost to the mun is going to do that much good. Alright, let's see what happens with this. I hope I didn't just blast the station. I don't think I did. Is that just part of that other debris? What is that? Seriously, what is that? That probe is... I think it's just from before. I think it's just from before. I really hope so. I don't know why it's showing debris here. I guess because it's not technically debris. I'll have to go classify it as debris. Let's get a good look at the surface features here. We can just turn everything off. So we're going to be crashing at a pretty good speed. See if we can spot anything interesting from up here. Not really. This little canyon. I think this is the canyon that Scott Manley uses for his reusable space program, if I am not mistaken. Where he's been doing his mining and whatnot. We're gonna like smack right into that mountain. This ought to be kind of fun. The surface really starting to feel like it's going pretty quick. And wow, where is that going? Can we switch over to this? That got some distance. So did that. What kind of trajectory is this on? Wow, that's gonna like bounce a third of the way around the mud practically. That's pretty funny. It's just a solar panel just flopping in the wind. Well, relative, I guess. It's not really wind, but man, that thing got far away. That one was really moving. Wonder what that part even is. Alright, well now that we got that crash out of the way, let's go ahead and get the crew first. Because they've been cramped in this little Soyuz for a long time, and I don't think that's very nice. So let's get them over to where they need to go first and foremost here. So we're going to go ahead and... how much fuel do we have on this thing? Pretty good amount. Let's go get the rendezvous done and get this docked up. Well, here we go, blaring in at a pretty decent clip here. Now I just realized I don't have the docking module on this. There are some docking ports, but unfortunately they are not quite what I want. So we're gonna have to launch the other module out here first of all. Let's go ahead and set as target, but we'll deal with this first. Get the crew over. Alrighty, docking is, I was about to say complete, but yeah, there goes the magnets and complete. Cool beans. So this thing's all jacked up again. It really likes to do that. Let's go ahead and control from here. Close this crap. Try to get this sort of like straightened out. It's ridiculous. The space station just does not want to stay pointing in any particular direction at all. But that's a little bit better. So we need to go back to the Space Center again and get the next section, because before I can have any of this stuff flying around, like I need to have the docking array, because everything else kind of depends on it. This is where fuel canisters are going to go, but we need the docking array to be here so that everything's actually available. So I am going to go take care of that and get that ready to launch. Alright, so we've separated the module off. It has a couple more solar panels. It's got this big old tank here, which is actually a monopropellant tank. It's got these structural struts along the side here that are full of monopropellant as well. That's actually the docking array. And then it has a little xenon gas tank down at the bottom so that if we want to, we can store xenon gas. This tank is lighter than the other one. I am a little bit worried about the total weight and size of this thing. It's kind of huge, and I'm sure, well, I'm not sure. I'm going to say the other tank was actually kind of heavier. Now this looks like it's actually not quite right. Let's fix this. The rocket fuel tanks are a little bit heavier than the same size tank, that monopropellant tank. Actually, it's like almost a difference of like 8 or 10 tons, so it's a pretty significant difference, really. So I'm kind of hopeful that this will be able to be launched. I should probably... You can never really strut too much, so... I mean, the strut, that's too long for a strut, though. Well, I guess we will just make do with what we got. Now, what was it I was going to do? Oh, yeah, some of the staging looked wrong. So, all the lower staging I know is right. This is where things get a little weird. So, we have that stage fire. I know I want those separatrons firing. What is this decoupler? This, yeah, that's the problem. And then we got the 3 engines firing out of sequence here, too, it looks like. So that's going to be the last stage, and then these engines should fire. They should fire at the same time as this goes on. Okay, that looks right. Let's get back out there on the launch pad, see if this goes any better. This is probably the tallest and one of the heavier rockets that I've launched. It's definitely the biggest piece of the station I've launched. So you see, it's kind of the same thing, but kind of not the same thing as the other one that we launched out that were just the regular fuel. So let's stop at stage 1 with this. Engage autopilot. It probably weighs about the same amount, but it's definitely a little bit taller. It looks like it's actually might do okay. It's wobbling a fair amount, and like I said, there's no way to strut from here to there. I'm cautiously optimistic that this is gonna make it. It's gonna be a hairy ride, but I'm gonna hope. It's actually wobbling badly enough that it looks like those mono propellant tanks are just gonna come right off. It's not tipping over here, which is a good sign. Fingers crossed. Well, we got away with another separation here. This is gonna be a... I'm not sure this is gonna make orbit quite as easily as the other one did. It really doesn't weigh much more. I didn't check the entire weight of the rocket. These might have added quite a bit of weight. I'm not real sure. Alright, for whatever reason, it decided to start spinning pretty fast, which is a little bit concerning. I'm hoping that will stop once that disconnects, once these drop off, but I have a feeling it might only make it worse. It's slowing down though. I think we got this. We're through the worst part of the atmosphere now. Last separation went off pretty well too. And it's looking a lot less wobbly and horrible right now because we're basically in space. The very upper atmosphere here. It looks really stupid. I don't know, it kind of looks like it's like yelling. I don't know. Like that's an eye and that's a mouth yelling. I don't know. I think this is going to work out just fine. We're out of the danger zone. Docking is probably still going to be something, but that's for another little while from now. We'll worry about that. Alright, we're actually losing altitude now. I'm watching this here. We're still gaining a periapsis, so hopefully this will balance out. This is definitely taking a little bit more fuel and time than previously. It's a little bit concerning. I'm watching this, like, we're kind of out of the atmosphere. We're building an apoapsis again here now. Okay, we dip below actual like apoapsis territory. I'm really hoping we can do all this burning with this skipper engine. I might have wanted to have a little bit more power. I should have probably put one of the mainsails on this or something, but we're getting there now. That was a little bit scary. I knew we were still picking up speed, so I thought we'd come out of it, and there we go. We got a good apoapsis. Now we just need to go get our periapsis. But we should have plenty of fuel to do that. Well, maybe not plenty, but I think we're going to be doing almost the entire transfer on the little Nerva engines, which is a little bit worrying, but it will work out. Alright, well, the thing's in orbit. It was a little bit dicey, but we made it. Turn off the RCS. There's no sense using up all that right now. Alrighty, so I am going to get our maneuver going here. Get us out to the Mun. That was one of the harder launches that I've done, actually. That was kind of crazy. Where is the Mun's orbit? Set as target. Let's go ahead and do our transfer. We get rid of this thing. And easy does it. That'll be good enough. Execute. How much time do we have to do this? Should I turn on the RCS? Yes, I probably should. Because it's not that long. 14 minutes. Like I said, I just need to remember to transfer this stuff out to the little tanks up here. And we'll be fine then. In fact, I should probably start doing some of that right now because I don't know how much time we're really going to have. That's actually a good point because this is going to be separating the stages probably pretty soon. I guess when we get on target and start burning, I'll just do some mad transferring. Try to keep those tanks popped up, filled up. Because we're going to turn off the RCS once the burn is initiated here. And of course our burn time is going to be completely screwed up because we're going to be getting rid of this engine and stuff. I don't know what that's going to do to it. So we'll probably have to make a mid-course correction here, I'm sure, too. I guess we're just going to have to live with that because I kind of want to just let the RCS do its thing here. Oh, let me turn it off for a second, right? I don't know if I'm going to get all this done in time. I wish there was a way to just balance all the RCS fuel automatically, but there's not. I think... Oh, there she goes. I'm pretty sure there's mods that do that, but I don't have them. Alright, well, it looks like we're going to make it no problemo. It's actually looking like ridiculously stable. Oh man, it's using monopropellant from that tank. I really hate that. That's beyond a decoupler. It shouldn't be using monopropellant from there. That's very annoying. Alrighty, well, the very long burn has kind of completed. There we go, it's completed. So what did we end up with here? A collision course still, it looks like. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and not collide into the mun. We have to probably slow down a little bit, right? That's a little too much. How's that? Still a little much. Still way much. That's pretty close. I actually do want to be in a slightly higher orbit than the station so that we can get all of our what's it's done. And we're going to have to double execute again, aren't we? Alright, let's move it into position. So, all is well. Alright, we're no longer crashing to our doom. We're no longer crashing to our doom. Awesome. So, we are pretty much set to just go ahead and warp on out. Never really works if you set up your maneuver node before you get into the sphere of influence, I've discovered. I've done that a couple times and then you just end up orbiting Kerbal. It does not work. And double check our altitude. Looks good. Create and execute. And how much time do we have? We have a long time to get this done. I'm not going to turn on the RCS because why waste it? Well, there's some sort of anomaly down there. That's probably one of the arches that I can see right where my cursor is. I don't know how well that will show up in the video, but that looks like an arch to me. Orbit has been achieved. We can go ahead and get our rendezvous set up. Everything's looking pretty good. It's all coming up roses at this point. So, where are you? Alright, let's get the rendezvous planner going. How bad is this transfer going to be? How long is that from now? 1 hour. That's fine. Alright, let's do it. I will see you at the station. There's a dark side Kerbal rise. That's kind of cool. Unfortunately, yet again, we're in the dark, as so often happens. I'm trying to see the target. Well, there's our friend, the debris over there. Where is the station at? How far away are... Oh, there it is. Alrighty. definitely am hoping to be able to wait until we get to the morning side of the moon before we deal with this. Where's Kerbal? I just want to get an idea of where the sun is. That's not good. The sun is like way over there. Well, I guess we're coming towards that side, so hopefully it won't be too long. Alright, call that good. For some reason we're having a little more trouble getting the precision down on these maneuvers now. Don't really know what happened with that, but we're gonna call that good and go over there really, really fast and separate this, because everything's drifting apart and it's not good, and I'm not happy. For some reason we can't get the maneuvers to be a little bit more precise. They don't want to do it, so I can't make them. Wrong way. There we go. Just need to get this out of the way here. That's probably good enough. Alright, control from there. Where is my target? We gotta go flip the station around too, because that's not gonna work. Come on, don't tear yourself apart, man. Where are we? Good enough. Back over here. Yeah, back over here. Can barely see what's going on over there. Where is... That's the top, isn't it? I can't tell a goddamn thing over there. Alright, that's our target. This is probably going to be a horrific docking, but I will say this. I will not run out of RCS fuel, I know that. So I'm not even going to bother. We'll just have to send a refueling mission up here. I'm not even going to bother worrying about the RCS fuel levels. Just get it done. These heavy things suck. Alright, well, this is actually working out surprisingly well. The tug is staying pretty close. I'm going to turn on some lights. How fast is that going to drain the battery with these lights on? Not that fast. I like these red lights. I try to use them every once in a while. Kind of reminds me of the core of Deep Space Nine. That's why I put it down there. The little reactor core at the bottom. That is draining pretty damn fast. Let's wait to do this until we actually get in range where the lights will do some good, I guess. I hope the space station is not going to start tumbling like it likes to do for really no reason. We're getting pretty close here. It's a little hard to keep my alignment too good. I'm going to try to turn on the RCS balancer because it usually helps a little bit with alignment. I didn't really use it most of the way in here because it was kind of crazy and we needed a little bit more gusto and wastefulness from the RCS, but this is looking pretty well aligned right now. I really, like I said earlier, I really do wish those docking ports that would just auto suck into the right orientation would happen. I would be pretty happy. Alright, gap's really closing up now. Let's turn on the lights. Not that they matter that much because it's kind of bright right now, but I have to keep checking like every possible angle to try to get the best idea I can. I think we got this though. The station, aside from the fuel tanks, is going to be complete here in a second. I really do like these stock jumbo docking ports. Yeah, that looks pretty well lined up there, doesn't it? Maybe a smidge. I like that they have these 3 offset little handhold things too. It makes it a lot easier to do your final finessing. It's never going to be exact, I'm sure. I'm sure you could like go crazy and make yourself do it exact. And we should have magnets sucking pretty soon here. Oh, come on. Come on. There it goes. Don't slide off each other. Oh god, why would you do that? Yay! That was terrifying. Holy crap. Why do those lights look like they're flashing down there? That's kind of weird. Whew. I was going to take a moment to enjoy the victory. Alright, I took a moment to enjoy the victory. So, let's go ahead and get rid of this. Well, actually, before we do that, I should actually be wise and transfer the fuel out of it. Not be an idiot and rush to do stuff. Wow, that transfers fast, man. That thing's just like... And I guess we'll do the offset one here to try to keep the station somewhat balanced. That looks kind of cool with the sun there and stuff. I really do wish that the station would just settle down and stop rolling. I mean, I turned it out of its normal orientation there on purpose, but it still feels like it's kind of just doing crazy stuff. Okay, so what have we got left here? Maybe I should leave this docked for a minute. How much fuel is it? It's got quite a lot of fuel left. I think I might want to leave it docked for just a little bit and transfer some of that into the other ship too. Let's at least top off the tanks here. See how this goes. Yeah, we might be kind of close here actually. I don't really care what it goes into as long as we get the fuel out of there. So that didn't leave that much. Is there anything else that can take some fuel on here? Look at the ship. It's already freaking rotating again. I mean, the station's already rotating again. That is so annoying. So very annoying. Let's transfer just a bit of fuel into each of these. I don't really care how balanced it is because we're not going to go for perfection for deorbiting this thing. Close enough. Where is the decoupler? You are the decoupler. Now, let's get our mech jib to turn us retrograde. Mech jib, are you doing something here? Yeah, it is. Okay. Alright, I'll be back when I get rid of this piece of crap. Alright, now that that is out of the way, we gotta get some stuff redocked here. Where did everything go? I guess the best way to do this is going to be to actually separate these things and do them separately. Little guy's probably okay for a minute. So, can I please click on a docking port up there? I sure can't. Try to not hit it. Okay, that's going to clear. Why can I not? Oh, there's a docking port. Cool. Let's go dock this thing. We finally have a home for all of our ships. It's nice. Alright, so things have been wrapped up here. The fuel tanks have been installed. We have a large quantity of fuel. Everything's pretty much been refueled. We didn't have... These were horrible to dock. I actually had to... I didn't show it, but I had to use the engines, not just the RCS, to get the docking done because I really didn't put enough RCS fuel in these. It only had 300 and all. And each one of these, by the time it docked, was running on fumes. So that was a little rough, but that's all good to go. So we can bust off the ship, and that's done. Now, I'm going to return this back to Kerbal because we're going to have some more ferrying of stuff that needs to be done. And I will just crash this into the mun as I have been doing. So, yeah, I think next episode we're probably going to take a break from space station-y stuff and take care of a mission to the sun that I've been wanting to do because I've never done anything like that. That's going to be by far the farthest away thing that I've ever done. I haven't even left the Kerbal system in my stuff so far, so that will be pretty fun, and we do have to build a base down on the surface. Unfortunately, a newer version of Kethane came out, 6.1 or 0.06.1, something like that, which is good that a new version came out, but it's bad in that all my little deposits have been reset because I upgraded from like version 4 or whatever, and so that means the spot that my rover was at no longer has any Kethane, and I'm gonna have to do some work to find a new source. I'm trying to make sure I don't hit the space station when I do this burn here. Let's see how that works out. But anyway, like I said, probably gonna be doing that. I'm not gonna show returning that to Kerbal because it's gonna be just pretty much the same old, same old. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'm gonna build something to go to the sun. So I will see you next time.